Watching wherever they may be around the world. Wonderful night here, 18 degrees, hardly any wind whatsoever, only about 13 kilometres per hour, and a really good start, you have to say, from Western Sydney Wanderers. You mentioned the positioning, Speedy, especially of that front three. There's been times this season we could throw a blanket over the three of them, but already they're starting to spread this Brisbane defence wide.
Simon Cox looking to make the most of his return to the starting 11. Scored 2 goals so far this season. A lack of goals may have cost him his spot as a starter, but scored as a sub the other day and rewarded with a return up front alongside Mitchell Duke. Gillespie able to go forward after Neville's pass. Put him on the front foot. Oh, Champness threw himself into that one rather recklessly. And Bacchus looked around, thought, that'll be coming my way, won't it? But it was given against Ziggy Gordon for earlier work. He won the ball as well, Champness, but he'd already been dragged back by Ziggy Gordon. Zaki. Jane O'Shea, who's leading the Alex Tobin vote so far as Brisbane are concerned this season. Awkward one for Gordon. Bounced it all the way out to Tate Russell, and now Akbari. Nice little run going in New South Wales at the moment, Brisbane. Beaten in their past 4, a couple of wins, a couple of draws, and here's Brindle South after the error from Western Sydney. Still Josh Brindle South teeing up Danzaki, and in the road was McGowan at some expense. Perhaps he's hobbling. They've had the wind knocked out of him. Good win there by Kamau, who's on his bike, and Aldred stopped it getting through.
Another crucial stop from Tommy Aldred.
Utilising those second and third balls here. Simon Cox has spotted an angle for Tate Russell. and back across the face. Cox couldn't turn it towards goal and couldn't keep it in either. That was a very near thing. Where did that second ball come from?
Well, a couple of great chances. Firstly, for Brisbane, the giveaway from Dorrans presented the chance for the Roar, and well, that was tantalising for the Wanderers in the end, but it should have been more than that. Tate Russell, not any meaningful connection on that ball at all.
Young moves past Ivan Franjic today on Brisbane's all-time appearances list, up to outright 7th now. Game number 132 for the shot stopper. Through Dorrans. Aquilina looking to get in behind Brindle South. Lovely range on the pass from Dorrans, and Aquilina tried to turn the corner, and there was a little nibble there from Brindle South. And the card is coming out as well.
Well, Aquilina's got past Brindle South once before. Josh slipped on that occasion, but he's got good position here, but he was just sucked in and desperately reached out with the left hand, and it is completely punishable with a yellow card. It's poor defending from Brindle South. He exposed himself with misjudgment, and now he's on the yellow card.
Debuted for Wellington way back in 2014. Josh Brindle South, as the free kick is whipped in to Jamie Young, plucked it over the top of Kamau and gets Champness going. Oh, what a take by the security guard. That ball fizzed out of play and taken on the chest. Mark Bosnich would have been impressed by that if you saw it.
I didn't see it, but what I did see was Jamie Young's take from a very dangerous position. That was an excellent take from the goalkeeper. It gives your defence so much confidence when your goalkeeper come and takes high balls. A wonderful battle emerging between both wide men. You've already seen Brindle South on one side next to Aquilina, and also here Corey Brown alongside Tate Russell, and Joey Champness, he just looks, one word, dangerous every time he gets that ball, and they're so aware of that, the Wanderers, but they're positioning themselves really well at this moment in time, as is Brisbane. There's no doubt about that, but at this moment in time the Wanderers have got a little bit more momentum.
Oh, Kamau, that's classy. Twisting and turning and finding Mitch Duke, the former skipper. Shea got in that passing lane. Duke couldn't find the option he was looking for there. There wasn't a whole lot of movement. Again, the stretch from Russell. Duke had a chance to poke it inside to Bacchus, who'd taken up a nice spot. Mutakutis dealt with the threat of Wenzel Halls, and Ziggy Gordon tells Mutakutis to get back into his rightful spot. Rotation going on at the back for the Wanderers at the moment. Could have turned. Bacchus does. Gives Russell one to chase. Corey Brown over the top of him.
See how tight Ziggy Gordon was there to Joey Champness. Does not want him to turn whatsoever.
Davis with composure. Kamau wasn't allowed to turn either, but he won it back there and now can stretch out a little. Bruce Kamau working the angles for Duke. Forced wide, but Kamau whipping around, and very nice combination play by the Wanderers, nearly bore fruit.
Yeah, the danger out of midfield with Bruce Kamau, very explosive, and Brisbane just couldn't cope with it. Down on the right-hand side without the ball, Brindle South and Wenzel Hall's just not putting adequate effort in closing the Wanderers players down as the Wanderers look to build up through their left fullback position. And there was just not enough intensity to try and stop the Wanderers from coming out. And the next thing they know, the ball's in midfield. Kamau skipped through and is attacking space at speed.
No look pass from Kamau that time. Referee happy with the challenge on Akbari that poked it clear. Aquilina punching one to Bacchus. Russell, so used to seeing him fly down the flanks for Western Sydney. Turning it this way and that, Tate Russell. And that's an important stretch by Neville in the middle.
Yeah, that was excellent from Tate Russell. Corey Brown defending it really well, and he showed Tate the line. And Tate teased Corey. Look at this little Tate to Tate, but then cuts brilliantly. Well done. Brisbane's defence in the end. Super effort from Tate Russell. And Corey Brown really as diligent as he could be there.
Ziggy Gordon will be upset because the header was straight at Jamie Young. It's hard to believe Brisbane lost Ziggy Gordon in that situation, because we all know that's the desire of Western Sydney from that corner. The two Scots combine. Brisbane very fortunate not to fall a goal behind. Gillespie, who often pulls the trigger, turned down Danzaki and Chapness. Now he's under a bit of pressure. Turned out of it nicely. Margush commits outside of his area.
Didn't get the contact he needed, but he took charge. That's the key thing. Very focused, called McGowan out the way, got to the ball first. Wenzel Halls was looming.
Wenzel Halls first to react here. Can open it up for Brindle South. Scott Neville is wrapping around. Shea can go back to the central defender. Aldred, Brisbane pushing forward in numbers here. Champness able to push inside. Wenzel Halls turning away from goal. Now he faces up. Dylan Wenzel Halls, great save, Margush. Brindle South picks up the scraps. What a moment. His first A-League goal 7 years after making his debut in this competition. Josh Brindle South, right place, right time, after a stinging shot from Wenzel Halls.
Well, look at Ziggy Gordon here. He couldn't quite cut it off. Couldn't send the ball back in. That was the play before he moved a little bit early. But Wenzel Halls, when he cuts it on that right-hand side, it's danger. Russell is overcommits on his left-hand side. You've got to cut it. Wenzel Hall's off on his right foot, edge of the box. It's his favourite play. He gets good contact on the ball. Excellent save by Margush. But he can't deny Brindle South, whose contact is crisp, to make it one for Brisbane.
Jack Hingett was back in the matchday squad. He's named amongst the substitutes, normally in that right wing-back role. He's been out with a knee injury the last couple of games. Brindle South making the most of his chance. And able to celebrate there. And I had just mentioned how Brisbane came forward in numbers for the first time. They built their attack, took up the field position. And it shows the intent when the right wing-backer is there to tap it home first time through the legs of Tom Aquilina. The Wanderers fall behind again. Good news for them is they're the best second half team in the comp. Carl Robinson can often turn things around with tactical tweaks. They've scored 20 second half goals, only 6 in first halves. Only team to win 10 second halves so far this season. But Mark Bosnich, it's another body blow for Western Sydney.
That it is, but let's just talk about that goal. I mean, this time last week it was Wenzel Halls after the 12th minute who cut in, and the only difference being is this time it was a fantastic save from Margouche, whereas last week it went in, and this week it was on the 18th minute. Pretty much first serious attack, you have to say, from Brisbane, but devastating. To say the least, there's no doubt about that, and a massive test of character now for Western Sydney Wanderers, who'd started off so well. But when things like that happen, when you're playing well, it's a real test of your confidence and your belief in the way you're playing. But look at this from Wenzel Halls. So direct, so dangerous. And Archie Thompson spoke last week about, you know, his danger from those type of positions and his shooting. And he's done it again, twice in a week.
Yeah, given the freshen up. Last time these teams squared off, he came off the bench with Scott McDonald, who's absent again this evening. Mystery surrounds why we're not seeing Scott McDonald at the moment at the Brisbane Roar, but they're functioning just fine without him. Wasn't that long ago when we were saying that he was the missing link. Cox drops one in. Duke against Neville. He got there just in time. Give away by Brindle South, not punished. Oh, Ziggy Gordon flying into action. Champness apologised for maybe catching him there, but it's play on for Brisbane. A little flick by Wenzel Halls might have been handy for Dan Zaki there, but the diminutive striker tried to control it with the chest. Target right through the middle here. He knows Cox is in the vicinity, but that kind of ball often dealt with by Gillespie and Aldred, so imposing at the back. Champness brilliant and clipped by Ziggy Gordon again, who'll be walking a tightrope before too long.
Well, that's 2 awarded free kicks and 1 that should have been that wasn't. I wonder if referee King is just keeping a mental note.
How big is this result tonight if Brisbane get it? 3 games in hand on the Wanderers, and they'll be just 2 points behind. It's massive for Western Sydney not to lose tonight, and even better to win, of course. But for Brisbane, it'll tighten things up big time in that race for the top 6, and you'd say they're favourites to clinch a final spot if they win this game tonight at Bank West. Scott Neville, massive to get him back after his time in India. What a ball, Gillespie to an onside Corey Brown. Danzaki back post all alone still. Wenzel Hall's free header, couldn't turn it home. And this back 3 for Western Sydney carrying out an inquest right now. What are McGowan and Mutakutis doing?
Well, not enough. Russell lost his bearings, and Corey Brown, how he got so free at that moment is grounds for an inquiry itself, but that's 5 yards out. Margouche would have been stranded, his central defence. McGowan's overrun it. Mutakutis didn't adapt.
And now Cox right through the middle for Camaro, and it's 1-1! From one end to the other, in a matter of seconds, go Western Sydney. There's collateral damage for the Brisbane Roar, a couple of players down. But then the execution of this front 3 to equalise for the black and red.
Well, we've seen it on multiple occasions this season. When a team should in one stroke, extend their lead, miss the chance, and their opponents go upfield to score. Wonderful finish from Kamau. He's in great form, Bruce. He was found beautifully from Cox. Looks up, measures the pass, hits it on the spot. So too does Bruce in response to get the Wanderers back square.
Brucey Kamau. 5 goals this season. 15 appearances for him. That's a great strike rate. It's only his 13th of his career. It's his best season in front of goal, but here's what happened. 2 Brisbane players go up for the same ball. Neville and Aldred out of the equation. That's why there was so much space. Duke went quickly to Cox, and then he was able to thread the pass for another assist for the Irish international. And concern still for the fallen Brisbane players.
Well, what a relief for the Wanderers, because they should have been down 2-0. And there's no disguising the fact that Brisbane have let them off the hook. Aldred's down as well, while Scott Neville is absorbing all the medical attention. Tommy Aldred's asking for a bit of help as well. It was a heavy collision on halfway. The Wanderers profited from that clash. Finished the goal beautifully.
So here we go. They set up in case it was played out short. In the end, 2 of Brisbane's 3 central defenders went for the same ball, and it left Macaulay Gillespie a sitting duck. And the Wanderers got what they wanted out of all of that. But, communication has got to be an issue when Aldred and Neville go for the same ball there, and it's the end of the section for the captain. What a moment. What a sliding doors moment in this game and perhaps the season.
And that's football in a nutshell. That last minute or so, one team on top, 1-0 ahead, miss that golden opportunity to go 2-0 ahead and pretty much game over. All of a sudden, 30 seconds later, it's 1-1. One of their best players had to come off because of a hamstring, and Truman will come on now. But you know what, in terms of the situation, what was going on for Wanderers, we talked about a test for character. Is that a moment they'll look back on at the end of the season and say, I'll tell you what, when Zahor scores that goal, could that been the end of our season? But now, massive opportunity, and especially massive opportunity with Tommy Aldred going off. What a game this is.
Amazing. So many talking points again in an opening half hour of an A-League fixture. How about the smarts of Simon Cox? First time ball again. We've seen it a lot in his time down under. He didn't think about an extra touch. He wasn't thinking about a shot. He was thinking about, how can I make this the easiest chance to score a goal? Here you go, Bruce Kamau. Do your best with this. Oh, Wenzel Hall's improvising. Beautiful control in the end. So Kai Truan at the moment is in the Aldred role, right in the heart of defence. Has had a lot of experience already this season as one of those 3 central defenders. Champness. O'Shea back to Brown. Gillespie wrapping around him, taking Tate Russell out of the equation. That's a lot to ask Macaulay Gillespie to get on the end of that one, though.
Yeah, just rattled by the goal conceded, and probably more so by the loss of Aldred, who's such an important part of the team. It was a bit of a panicky pass, that, from Corey Brown. His start to the game otherwise has been really good. Consolidation time for the Raw. They've been dealt a hammer blow. Of course, they conceded that advantage by missing that gilt-edged chance, so that in some senses they got themselves to blame. Instead of defending a goal kick, which will prove pivotal, they should have been defending a kick-off.
And And we spoke about when Western Sydney Wanderers went 1-0 down, what a test of character it is. Well, you can reverse that now onto Brisbane Roar. Massive test.
It's all young. Got right underneath it. Put in by Aquilina. Wenzel Halls was coming hard at him. Dorrance was looking to shape one. Kamau wasn't quite on the same page. No shortage of forward passes tonight from a couple of teams. Very proactive, and Ziggy Gordon is going to get that final warning, not before time.
Very clear, the ref. I've penalised you 3 times, but I've had another thought about that first one. I'll let go. So let's call it 3.5, Ziggy. Now put your gun back in the holster. So if you're Brisbane, I'm firing it straight back out to Champness.
You tried to.
And again, and again.
Determination from McGowan, and in concert with Bacchus he won it. Mutakutis had to stretch to keep it away from Danzaki. Such a busy player, Riku Danzaki, forcing Aquilina backwards. O'Shea able to look forward, punches one to Wenzel Halls, just wide. He had Margush scrambling. He's such a confident young kid, Dylan Wenzel Halls. Not quite on that occasion.
He was put under a lot of pressure by Dorrance, who was breathing heavily across the keeper, beats Margush but can't navigate the inside of the post. A great chance for Brisbane. Difficult angle for Wenzel Halls.
And the header straight back in there. Nearly put Danzaki through.
Mate, Speedy, there are headers and there are headers. That was a sledgehammer from Macaulay Gillespie. There's a header that's gone 40 metres on the fly and flat.
There's another one that goes 15. That was tame.
Got a forehead made of concrete or something. On a coiled spring for a neck. There's something going on there.
It's got one of those titanium inserts. Like the drivers now in the modern golfing game. Cox. There's those 3 in concert again. Kamau just couldn't get back to it after working Gillespie out of position. And may have left a little boot in on Jamie Young, who's okay with it.
Well, that was brilliant from Kamau. Used his body so well, and it's not many people who can bump Gillespie off the ball. He gets in the blind side of him and then nudges him off balance. Jamie Young was alert to the potential. And well done, Bruce Kamau. He's looking in great nick at the moment, the Wanderer.
Brindle South kept on running. Again in behind. Go Brisbane. Brindle South stretching. Had to win the ball there, Aquilina, and he did.
Well, it's another heck of a chance for Brisbane. And those wing-back positions have been exposed. Brindle South rounds up the ball. Brilliant from Aquilina. Not much margin for error there. And he wins the ball cleanly at full stretch.
Brown whipping it deep. Margush couldn't come and kept it out in the end as Gillespie's downward header caused a few more heart palpitations for the Wanderers fans.
Wasn't he scrambling there, the Wanderers keeper? Came, thought better of it. It was Macaulay Gillespie with that concrete forehead and the spring coil neck with a little dinker at the near post. And on the scrambling retreat, Margush composes himself really well there, actually, in the end.
O'Shea in swinger from this side. Gillespie had a couple to beat that time. Akbari tracks it down. Brindle South. Scott Neville has stayed forward here. He's the target. Wins his header. And Aquilina got a shout from Margush. Gone outright first in saves made this season. Daniel Margush, who came into the night level with Andrew Redmayne. Now there's some issues for Jamie Young potentially. Cox back to Kamau, and nice idea. Mitch Duke puts his hands to his face and says, I should have been there. That's a good ball from Brucey Kamau. Now a poor giveaway. Straight back to Duke, and the back heel comes off. Cut back nearly for Kamau. Western Sydney squeezing Brisbane into this defensive third. And Russell tried to lift it for Kamau. Really open game here. Cox told Aquilina to run with it. Dorrans can punch it out to Russell. Duke full of running. Lifts it back post, Brindle South. For Wenzel Halls to chase him behind. McGowan has snuffed things out on back-to-back occasions now. A few players looking for a breather at the moment after this end-to-end high-tempo stuff. Fantastic watch for the neutral, which is what we hear in every A-League game seemingly this season. Such entertainment on display. Everyone comes to play in the Friday night fixtures as well, under the bright lights. Champness. O'Shea keeps things ticking in midfield. Akbari, and that won't hold up for Brindle South. He's produced some nice passes tonight. That time, wrong option taken. Tom Aldred has had some soft tissue issues. Here's a look at it in slow-mo. That pinball kind of action, and the awkward fall is where he might do the damage.
Yeah, it's hard to see how he's re-damaged his hamstring in that action. But he's a forlorn figure at the moment. We'll miss him for as long as he's not available. There's no mention of that. Thankfully.
Margush is outside of his area again here. Out of keeper from Parramatta Station. He's done that a couple of times now, boss.
Excellent goalkeeping, and if you watch very, very closely, one of the ways the Wanderers are trying to counteract the pace of Danzagi and Champman is actually to keep a high line, which I've seen done before. But if you're going to do that, you need your goalkeeper to be a sweeper keeper. But what a crack action, both ends of the park. Simon Cox has been absolutely outstanding. They look so much a more cohesive unit when he's playing. And the other thing, the comment that you made, Speedy, about the up and downness nature of the game, you're 100% right. But I'm just thinking to myself, as this was played in 30-degree Celsius heat, there's no way the players could keep up this intensity. One of the great advantages of playing at this time of the year.
And this time of the day as well. Under the lights. Even in the summer months, we can see the players keep this kind of tempo.
Well, I think if the league desires to stay in the summer, which is understandable, there'll be a variety of reasons for that, they should make sure that no game kicks off before 7 o'clock, in my opinion. That's in the evening anywhere.
Agreed. You can bring the midweek fixtures in and make sure every game kicks off at 7 p.m. under lights. And you're going to get decent conditions 98% of the time. 5 p.m. Games should not happen in December, January/Feb. That will all be discussed around a round table in months and years to come. Here's Kai Truitt closing down from Kamau. Kept in by Neville. Finds the chest of Wenzel Halls. All the way through to Kamau again. Such clever use of his body. And he can play in Cox. Who's next in line? Which Duke was a little late coming to the party at the back post. Clever. Brilliant by O'Shea. Opened up this channel for Champness. Got a couple to beat now. Has to settle for the throw in the end.
Well, it's excellent. Really energetic. Tate Russell it was actually. Sorry, really energetic defending from Tate to force Champness out.
Oh, the 1-2 was on. Danzaki didn't get the right angle. Akbari again. Brilliant win in midfield. Jay O'Shea is starting to run the show, isn't he? He's been offside. Mitch Duke, no goals in his past 4 games. This hasn't quite been his sharpest tonight. Of course, worked it out in the end.
Never in doubt.
So much chopping and changing in this Wanderers attacking unit. Frank Robinson making the point that you don't necessarily have to be a starter to be a star in my team. The way he utilises his bench, you're probably more likely to get chances in second halves coming on as a sub. But here's the chance opening up. Dorrans to Aquilina. Had to score an A-League goal, and the block was a handy one.
Dorrans himself was at a great angle there. Plenty of time. He passed the ball off to Aquilina. He can hit the ball, Graham Dorrans, as we've seen. I'm surprised he didn't back himself from that sort of range.
And a diagonal out to me, Scotty. And he tried it. And Cox caught Akbari.
Yeah, just a little bit late to the scene there, Cox. Akbari's been very good for Brisbane again. He doesn't get a lot of the headlines, but he covers a lot of ground, affects a lot of possession. And then just nipped in front there, Simon Cox had overrun.
Dropped by Margush. Danzaki could have rolled it back to Truitt, and it came a little too late. And in the end, it ricochets back to Margush, who says to the referee, "Why didn't you blow your whistle for that one?"
And you're talking about player A, player B, who's not quite at their best today. I think you can put Danzaki in that category so far to start the match. He's been just outstanding this season, but just not that sharpness of decision-making so far this evening.
O'Shea can go for goal here. Margush a long way out. Oh, back off the crossbar. Here comes Danzaki. Plays for a penalty, and it's not going to be there. Wow, Daniel Margush is a very lucky young man. Jay O'Shea nearly put himself right on the highlight reel.
Well, I think the rebound is worth looking at too, for the contact on Danzaki, Speedy.
It's already been cleared.
Spectacular from Jay O'Shea. Really, for the invention and the quality of the strike, it deserved a goal. But the Wanderers have dodged one there massively.
Orlando Engelar for the Melbourne Heart from inside his own half, and Jay O'Shea nearly from the same kind of range. That's the threat, I suppose, Boz, when you play sweeper keeper.
just let this go.
I'll get back to you in a moment. O'Shea again, keeping this attack alive. Akbari, what can he deliver? Leaves it to the Irishman. Patience on display from Brisbane. Gillespie. Wenzel Halls. Probing from the raw. Champness came all the way across to get involved. Amazing sequence of passes. We've seen it before from Brisbane this season. And they've capped it off for a team goal in the past. That time the Wanderers finally get it back by Gordon and Russell. And look at Tate Russell able to go the other way. Great idea, but Gillespie just got back. Don't want this first half to come to an end. Should be a decent chunk of stoppage time after that long stoppage after the Wanderers' goal. And it is 4 minutes added on. And Aldred went off. Back to you, boss.
Yeah, what a wonderful passage of play there by Brisbane. That would have been easily a contender for goal this season had it ended up in the goal. But coming back to the O'Shea, marvellous bit of skill. And that's what you've got to be careful of when you're a sweeper keeper. Been in that position many a time. The most important thing is to remember you can't be square on. When I mean by square on, you have to have your chest facing one of the touch lines and one of the feet forward, one of the feet back, so you can go forward or back. If you're level with your feet facing exactly the opposite goalkeeper, when that happens you can be in massive trouble.
Late whistle here, and he was off his line again. Margush for Wenzel Halls to have a shot, but here's another look at it.
Brilliant. Really, and he's got the little skip after it too. I've hit a hole in one here, he says. Let's come off the tee beautifully. And Danzaki on the follow-through gets to the ball first. We don't get to see the contact, which VAR has already decided was immaterial.
So you see there, he was basically on his side, sideways at the beginning, but that little turn in the centre, that's what nearly cost him.
Footwork. Word of advice from Bozza. The young goalkeepers watching on anywhere around the world. It was great to hear the tips of one of Australia's finest ever. One of the world's finest. Here's Jay O'Shea looking long again. Champness, he thought about coming Margush, and Danzaki's in. Oh, what a ball! Brilliant! At the back post. You don't see many balls like that. Joey Champness, Joey C, with a bit of X factor.
Well, this is just quite breathtaking. Look, he's wearing him like a bad suit. Ziggy Gordon has followed him all the way into the half to try and nullify it. When it's over the top, he can't match it. But that doesn't matter. I mean, all bets are off. When you've got a player who can ping like that on the fly. Danzaki persevered, good solid like that on the fly. Danzaki persevered, good solid, crisp finished. A lot could have gone wrong for the Japanese star there, but it didn't. What a goal from Brisbane.
3 in 3 for Riku Danzaki, bookending it with a couple of goals against Western Sydney. But Joey Champness, my goodness, rap away about that one, my boy. Joey C, he's got a song that's had over 1 million downloads or whatever it's called on Spotify. It's going all right in that space.
Oh, mate, if that pass doesn't...
Spotify. It's going all right in that space.
Oh, mate, if that pass doesn't go viral, that's what you call it.
Streams, they call it.
Incredible. And mate, just for the record, he burnt Ziggy Gordon to a cinder in the foot race there.
So that decent chunk of stoppage time that was accrued because of misfortune for Brisbane wound up providing these chances late. Champness again. Oh! Providing these chances late. Champness again. Oh! Danzaki, or rather Wenzel Halls, didn't react at the back post. He might have had a tap in too.
Well, he would have taken the tip out of the goal before and just started moving towards the goal. Chandler's brilliant. It comes on the back of another really ineffective header from Murtakutis, and then questionable defending strength-wise on the edge of the box. That header from Murtakutis again didn't go where it needed to, and then Taz is squared up on the edge of the box. Chandler's could have punished him.
What a breathtaking finish to the first half here at Wonderland. Josh Brindle South opened the scoring. The Wanderers came up with an equaliser out of nowhere after a couple of Brisbane players wiped each other out in friendly fire. And then in first half stoppage time, Riku Danzaki on the end of one of the assists of all time in the A-League from Joey C. Half time, it's Brisbane 2, Western Sydney 1. Let's get down to Bozza.
Thank you very much, Brendan. I've got Bruce Kamau with me. What a fantastic first half it was for the neutral. Mustn't be feeling like that now after conceding. But what's been your take on the first half?
Truan, who slotted in nicely. Wouldn't have been anticipating being out there as early as he was when Tom Aldred went down.
Let's see how long it takes Brisbane.
Massive breaking news in the world of Australian football tonight. Alo Kuol will be a Stuttgart player on a 4-year deal from the end of June. He'll play out the season with the Mariners, which is also great news after the season he is having. So the Mariners in action tomorrow in Tasmania against Western United. So that'll be getting a bit of airplay over the next 24 hours. Congratulations, Alo Kuol. He'll be part of the Bundesliga setup with Stuttgart. Here's Aquilina. Bacchus, chance to shoot, and a bobbling ball took a deflection off Akbari.
Well, excellent 3 minutes to start the second half from the Wanderers, needing to turn this one round desperately. The table position is looking precarious. Aquilina's been good tonight, and the side on goal for Bacchus. Space closed down pretty quickly by Ramat Akbari.
Right in front of the RBB, the Wanderers with another chance, and Mitch Duke. That was an even better opportunity to keep that header down.
Well, it's 3 minutes now, and since the half, Neville has the assignment on Mitch Duke. He'll almost be considering Macaulay Gillespie on that one, on that particular duel, given the evidence of these early stages of the second half.
It's another effective win in midfield by this man, Akbari. O'Shea. And McGowan this time tripping up Wenzel Halls.
Played out of the tight nicely there. O'Shea, Brindle South, finding Wenzel Halls. That touch skipping inside. Going outstretched and brings down the Brisbane striker.
Corey Brown has come a long way across. When he does that from his left wing back position, you'd expect him to swing it in. Jay O'Shea says, off you go. Back into a decent spot, because I'm going to whip this one in. And back post in a wrestle with Ziggy Gordon was Gillespie.
This is hit beautifully by O'Shea, just curling in nicely. Well defended by the Wanderers on that occasion. Really, Gillespie just very difficult to beat in the air.
Well, James O'Shea tonight can put the ball on the sixpence. I don't know why Corey Brown even thought about coming over, maybe as a diversion. The way he's passing the ball, I'll be leaving every set play to him. Really good start to the second half from the Wanderers, but these are the times that they've been very vulnerable. This is where the boys at the back, when they're attacking like this, have got to keep their minds switched on and keep involved in the game, maybe through talking, through organisation. Because those are the times that they've been caught Brisbane ever so dangerous.
1-2 between Gordon and Margush. It came off. Another flick on one by Mitch Duke. Brisbane have got a 9-day break before their next game. The Wanderers always have firepower on their bench. We saw a couple, Troisi and Yeboah, also got Bernie Abini there, who missed that big late chance in Adelaide the other night. kicked off and allowed the cross for Mitch Duke to rise above Jamie Young. Alex King happy to let the goalkeepers deal with those kinds of situations. You're not going to get a whistle out of him.
Which is unusual, hence the question from Jamie Young. Miscommunication defensively from Brisbane out at left fullback position. I mean, most times any contact with the goalkeeper inside that 6-yard box is a free kick, irrespective of how legal the jump is. And I'm really happy that referee King has said, hey, that's fair enough to me, you're allowed to jump for the ball.
What does Mark Bosnich think about those couple of challenges that have been let go?
Well, I've got no problem with them in general, as long as you don't barge into the goalkeeper, or sometimes players take the arm of the goalkeeper when they're coming in. Wasn't the best of angles from that camera shot just to have a look. We'll see it a bit later on, whether or not he used his arm or not. But if it's just a shoulder-to-shoulder charge, I'm always okay with that.
And, Speedy, you mentioned Brisbane not playing for another 9 days, which means they're going to have a hell of a logjam of games in the run-in, which means the win here is even more important. You don't want to have games every few days when you're really needing to chase wins to earn a finals position. So that little scheduling issue that you've raised is a really big consideration.
Robinson did tell us 5 or 10 minutes. The moves are imminent. Will Duke stay out there, I wonder? Started the other night in Adelaide. He's been starting a lot of games lately. Space here for Corey Brown. Again, Akbari. The right pass into space. Champness. Brilliant turn away from Dorrans, and then the surge off the mark. An important intervention by Bacchus at the expense of a corner.
Can't contain him at the moment. Brisbane cannot contain him. I mean, the Wanderers of Brisbane's Joey Champness turned in a tight area, had 2 on him. Beautiful shift of the ball. Dorrans was left in his wake. Kamau came in and made pressure just before you imagine Champness was about to shoot. So it's a good intervention from Bacchus.
O'Shea wearing the armband after the departure of Aldred. Great little spot here, and the header again from Gillespie kept out by Margush. Back in by O'Shea and turned away by Mudakudis. They can't handle Macaulay Gillespie from those set pieces. Aquilina just clattered into Akbari.
Well, it's a good save, that from Margush. Gillespie again, just too strong. Mudakudis just could not make any impression at all on the edge of his 6-yard box. And he needed the goalkeeper to save his bacon.
So Duke and Cox off. Played their part in the Wanderers' goal, scored by Kamau. And Bernie Abini and Kwame Yeboah are the fresh legs in the attacking third. Difficult angle here for O'Shea. And Abini's first involvement is a defensive header. Back in by Truan. Wanderers waste no time. This is no Aquilina did that deliberately, hoping that Yeboah would turn into that space. Ziggy Gordon hacking away at Joey Champness, who asks the question.
More of that.
Instead he flies in with a bit of two-footed kind of action that could have gone wrong. Torrens breathes a huge sigh of relief there. Bacchus, lovely control. Kamau, the goal scorer. Still going, Bruce Kamau. Aquilina back on side. Little 1-2. Just over hit for Aquilina, who couldn't keep it in.
Near thing. Good exchange, good perseverance from both the Wanderers there. Bacchus excellent on halfway. And then feeds the ball to Kamau, who's very difficult to reel in. We've seen it time and time again. He linked nicely with Aquilina. And Josh Brindle-South defending that goal line duel with Aquilina, just got out of jail.
Takes some doing to win this game as well. Gordon back to Margush. Beanie was beaten to it by Scott Neville. Beautiful little 1-2. Danzaki continued his run. McGowan stopped Wenzel Halls from linking up with him, but here they come again, the Raw. Very tidy work by Yeboah. Zach Bari lost out. RBB trying to get the whole crowd into it here. Dorrans has seen Aquilina ghosting in behind. Beanie! Blocked off by Gillespie. I think it was going wide. Kept alive by Mutakurtis here. Russell to feet. Bernie Abini looking lively. Has he kicked that out off himself? I think he has for a goal kick.
Well, a good effort on goal. Well defended Brisbane. And as the ball came out, it was a really good interception by Mutakurtis to keep the pressure on. Ball in for Bernie Abini, such a dangerous customer, particularly off the bench. Held the defender off nicely. And in the end, Brisbane prevailed.
Bit of afters between he and Truan as well. Watch this space. Kamau with that dexterity again. Aquilina. And the deflected strike looped up kindly for Jamie Young. Press here from Brisbane. The Wanderers play their way through it, they can. Lovely. Bacchus, there's a little channel there, and Gillespie turned around and found it. Tate Russell. Gillespie back to it.
Well, that was a double seat gone over everybody.
Make of the Wanderers double change. Such a talismanic figure, Mitch Duke, but withdrawn by
time lately, so maybe question marks of his ability to run out the 90. A quality player. And the bench has worked for Carl Robinson in recent weeks. Players stung perhaps by being left off have really made a point when they've joined the football match.
Wenzel Halls, Ziggy Gordon came from the blind side, and the referee had a great view of it. Ziggy's going in the book. He thought he took all ball. And on first inspection, I thought he'd timed it pretty well too.
Yeah, I think that's very unfortunate for Ziggy Gordon. Wenzel Hall's in his backswing has collected Ziggy Gordon's sliding tackle, I think. Gordon nicks the ball away. The tackle is from behind, so I'm not sure if that's what Alex King, he's saying he's took his leg out. All I can know is if I was in that situation with Ziggy Gordon, I'd think desperately, I've won the ball cleanly. I can understand his protestations.
And you saw the one that Wenzel Hall's bounced straight back up and said, fair enough, I've lost the ball. Get the whistle. And Jay O'Shea with Corey Brown next to him.
Who hasn't read Boz's memo.
Yes.
Unless it's to be the diversion.
Good side for a right footer as well. It has to be the Irishman, Jay O'Shea. And he went the goalkeeper's side. Couldn't sneak it inside that post.
Good contact. Fine player, had a good game.
Back for the barge. Brisbane plotting their first double change. Next stoppage for that one. We've got a little 3-on-2. Back to Brindle South from a very central area. Not sure they want to produce that one again, Brisbane. Got a good piece of that one. Wenzel Halls is offside and interferes with play, and that should prompt the double move from Warren Moon. Mohamed Akbari will be replaced like for like by Jesse Daly, and the Alex Parsons project continues. This youngster out of the NPL level with 7 goals in 4 games in the NPL in Queensland. Getting another run out. He was pretty impressive the other night too, Harps.
Yeah, he did well. He's got a, looks like a really tasty left foot. Akbari, sensational game. Joey C, enough said. We're replaying and enjoying the pass for Brisbane's second goal for as long as we're watching football, I reckon. Incredible effort.
Great reaction between he and the coach, so there's an understanding of why that substitution was made. And we've got another substitution coming up. One of the assistants has pulled up lame here. It's the end of the section for Andre Giev, and rotation policy. He'll go into the 4th official role, will he? Tim Danaskos. Lucky he got VAR for backup. He's the assistant. 4th official is called upon to be an assistant now. I've seen him referee games as the main man. Bit going on down there, boss.
I'm just shouting out now and asking, but obviously there's an injury of some type. There'll be no one down here for both managers and their assistants to blame when decisions go against them. So hopefully they don't start blaming me.
Well, Andre Jeb will just take that role, even though he's lame. So they'll still have someone to blast, and the coaches wouldn't want it any other way. He's getting hammered from all angles, Andre Jeb. What's your problem, mate? We need to tell the media, Thomas.
Yeah, well, there's a groin strain or something.
Groin strain, guys. Groin strain.
Right on top of it.
There you go.
Breaking news. Harper might claim the scoop, though. He might have beaten Boz by a couple of seconds there.
Bird's eye view.
Here comes James Troisi and Daniel Wilmering ready as well. Another double change. Bacchus man to make way here. He was so keen to take the throw. Was Tom Aquilina. And maybe a rotation. Tate Russell, who's missed 3 games in a row due to injury. He's the one to make way. Aquilina switches sides, and Wilmering plays on the left side. And Mudakuta's off, Troisi on. So formation change. Andy Harper.
Yeah, they'll go for it at the back. Ziggy Gordon, in he comes to play right centre half. McGowan left centre half. A fair bit of firepower in the front part of the field for the Wanderers. Troisi, Mabini, Kamau, Yeboah.
Troisi combines with Wilmering. Wanderers defence haven't got the threat of Joey Champness to worry about anymore, but Wenzel Halls and Dan Zaki still out there. They go for Broke here. Wilmering, beautiful delivery, and the header tipped over by Jamie Young. Kwame Yeboah, that close to an equaliser.
Well, the first time of asking, Wilmering delivers a peach, and he can fire the ball in from the left-hand side. His normal target's Bruce Kamau, but Yeboah helped himself on the end of this and forces great work from Jamie Young.
Now Dorrans whips it in, up goes McGowan. Ziggy Gordon drags it out of the sky with composure. Back in by Bacchus. Wilmering again. That time straight to Neville. Troisi dropping deep. Bacchus can go back across the face. Aquilina on his preferred side. Overhit for Troisi and company.
And a chance for Brisbane just to regather. 20 minutes plus stoppages. And Jesse Daly's a fine player in his own right, but the potential for disruption having Akbari taken out could be significant. What's most significant is the Wanderers' precarious grip on 6th place as things stand. Brisbane and have 3 games in hand on them. Western United have 4 games in hand on them. Wow, what a 20 minutes that is brewing here.
Abini, nice deft touch around the corner, and they get a corner out of it. Macaulay Gillespie has copped that one where he needs about a minute to get ready again.
Yeah, it was a brave crawl until he just went kaput. Now McGowan suffered the same fate in the first half for the Wanderers. Yeboah in behind, showing the danger.
Magouli's Gillespie. And now the corner variation. Troisi, it deflects all the way through. Great save, Jamie Young. Reflex stuff to keep Dylan McGowan out. Second super save in a matter of seconds. And they'll get another corner here.
Well, they're paddling at the moment, Brisbane. And the lead twice now, so close to being extinguished.
Header. Again, we've seen a stack of headers. Yeboah's been the only one to keep one down.
Well, Abini had great first position there. McGowan on the turn. It's just reflex pure from Jamie Young. I mean, how many times have we extolled the virtue of Jamie Young? And quite a highlight reel he'd have developed over the years. Brindle South is down crook. Difficult period this for Brisbane.
35 years young is Jamie. Mark Bosnich.
Another double substitution coming for Brisbane. Jack Hingett and Gogo Mabratu are about to come on. I don't know who for. two fantastic saves for Jamie Young. We spoke about him before the game, how important it is. Just as important as having a good goal scorer when you got a goalkeeper who can do match-winning saves like that. From a tactical perspective, you mentioned the fact, obviously, Alexander Parsons, he's gone over to Dan Zaki's side. Dan Zaki's gone over to Champners's side. Jess Daly, straight replacement for Akbari. As for the Wanderers, it's Wilmering on one side and Aquilina on the other, who gone to fullbacks, like I said, four at the back. Troisi's come out to the left-hand side. Kamal's gone out to the right. And the two up front are floating all around. Massive 20 minutes for both teams here.
And Jamie Young is trying to just point to his head and tell his back three to stay focused. And they'll lose Josh Brindle South here. A ready-made replacement, though, in the form of Jack Hingett. When he went down with that knee injury a couple of weeks back, we feared the worst for Jack Hingett. The scans the next day, we saw the dreaded ACL test. So how good is it to see him back today, the veteran? And Brindle South leaves with his first A-League goal to his name.
Yep, highly creditable, but they need the experience of Hingett at the moment. If he's in match nick, Jack, they've got to steady the ship. The Wanderers desperate to chase these points. They're peppering the Brisbane goal.
Winslow Hall's got the hurry up from Alex King, and he said, mate, my number hasn't even gone up yet. Give me a spell. Doesn't mind giving a bit back, old Dylan. And goal Mabratu on like for like. That's what happens when the fourth official becomes an assistant and the assistant becomes a fourth official. Andre Jeff just not so slick on the numbers. Took an eternity to put the 23 up there.
Well, he's got groin trouble as well, Speedy. Give a bloke a break. Well, this will be some respite for Brisbane. They can get set now and have a passage in the Wanderers' half. They've barely been in this part of the field the last 5-10 minutes. And a lot of pressure put on them. Instructive how long Jack Hingett is taking to get the ball back into play.
Daly able to keep it away from Troisi. Dan Zaki down that left-hand side as Bosser identified. O'Shea, Danzaki wanted it, taken up a decent spot. O'Shea's pass has the range on it for Hingett. After the cultured left boot of Daniel Wilmering. Troisi again. He thought Yeboah was making that run in behind, so a couple of times now that Yeboah's gone one way and his teammates thought he was going the other.
Gee, that's a great bit of work, that, from Jesse Daly, because the Jamie Young clearance wasn't a good one. Bacchus got to the ball first but couldn't quite control the ball, had a lot of heat on it as it bounced. Daly's just thrown himself in there, and it's a really important contribution from the substitute.
Plenty of traffic here at Bankwest. Should be Margush's here, and you noted in the pre-game that one team was warming up inside the penalty area and the other team was not. And it's at the end that Jamie Young is in goal at the moment, where the Wanderers weren't warming up inside that penalty area. It's seen plenty of traffic and maybe causing us some problems with his distribution. Oh, brilliant by Gillespie. And that part of the pitch to try that, but now he's got to keep guard. Here come the Wanderers and all their speed. Bacchus forward. Heavy touch allowed Truen to clear. Aquilina also a heavy touch.
More work
the
required.
Assistant debates it.
Sorry, Speedy. More work required from Golgol Mabratu there. He coughed the ball up, and you've got to work like the Dickens to fix your mistake. He's happy to sit and watch Danzaki come into a 50-50. He could have put his shoulder to that wheel. You've got to buzz around off the bench to protect the lead.
Neville asking for help. Finds Parsons. And Dorrans flew into it. Didn't like the treatment from Daly, and the referee just blowing up that potential flashpoint. Danzaki. an engine. He has the 20-year-old, and breaks back his way. Gave it back to Aquilina though. He's got Bacchus square. Just hurried by Parsons and helped create the turnover.
Everything's going through the centre for the Wanderers, and it's all in front of Brisbane. They've got to start trying to get players in behind. If Yeboah comes, Abini or one of the others come out, I've got to go in behind, just like that, to create the space. And one of the sides, they're obviously playing with Troisi on one side who's cutting, but on the other side, they've got to hug that touchline and get a little bit more width, because if it keeps going through the middle, Warren Moon and Brisbane are comfortable with that.
Flicking one down the line to Troisi. Just kept it in second time around. Fired in the chest of Yeboah. And the referee will give that free kick. Allow Brisbane to get more numbers back. Goal side. Gordon punches it into the feet of Abini. Keane right through the middle. And Brisbane gobble it up. Parsons. For Mabratu, it'll just roll away from him. Tenacious work from Kamal. And look how central they are here. Where's the width? Abini keeps it central, and the shot pretty tame.
It's all Wanderers, and they'll get this equaliser if Brisbane don't start securing possession across the halfway line. It's likely another turnover now, and the Wanderers will come again.
Again, Mabratu could have turned into space, made it Jesse Daly's problem instead. Aquilina able to keep it in, and grateful for that very late contact from Corey Brown that was unnecessary, and for kicking the ball away. Jesse Daly goes into the book.
Well, these sort of signs are Brisbane hanging on mode at the moment. You can sort of understand it, but they've got to snap out of that. They've got to maintain an assertive mentality that served them so well up until the last 10 minutes or so, perhaps a bit longer. It's just been Wanderer attack after attack.
Bacchus trying to switch it up to Wilmering. Troisi ahead of him. There was a clever header by young Wilmering. Troisi almost around Scott Neville, who hung out a leg and got a little fortunate.
It was a near thing. Pressure building. It's terrific pressure that the Wanderers are putting Brisbane under here.
And much better spread in that attack, the Wanderers.
Dorrans. No header on the end of that time, and Troisi can't keep his shot down. And he was the one who moved into that wide area to build that last attack with Wilmering. And Carl Robinson about to play his final trump card. Nikolai Muller for Graham Dorrans, so Bacchus is left as the only defensive midfielder, and then 5 attackers ahead of him. Can the German international provide the inspiration? Parsons, all left foot, finds the feet of Mabratu. Kept on going, young Parsons wants it back from Danzaki. He got there, and the man who leads the comp in block shots was right spot again. Interesting, the coming together there between Ziggy Gordon and Alex Parsons, basically tackled to the turf inside the penalty area, which is always a risk. In some leagues, the VAR would have weighed in by now, but not down under, I don't think. Here's Hingett, and they'll get a corner.
Well, how long since Brisbane have had a corner like this? Beautiful ball through, good shot on the turn, great defending there and in anticipation by Ziggy Gordon. Contact on Parsons once he got to his feet. VAR didn't think there was much in it, neither did the ref. Corey Brown taking as long as he can to get to the corner.
You've got to hand it to Brisbane, though, under so much pressure for the last 10 minutes or so. But once again, when they attack, they look so dangerous.
Looking to extend their unbeaten run against tonight's opponents to 5 games. 2 wins, 2 draws in the last 4. As Brown delivers, Margush struggling to get there. Gillespie looking to put it back across the face, and Margush recovered. Bowls it out to Wilmering. Always a pretty good outlet, but he had very little support. Hingett got there first, played it cleverly into space here for Parsons. Only Mabratu in the middle, so bends it, and Margush with a super flying save. Very nearly a tap-in for Mabratu as well.
Oh, Mabratu, a difficult one for him. And when he looks at this, you think, right, well, I look at the shape of the shot from Parsons, who does brilliantly, the kid. Margush at full stretch, and really tough call. Tough one for Golgol Mabratu, but if he reads that line and maybe just anticipates moving slightly to his left and the goalkeeper's intervention, he might have been able to get on the end of it. It's a big ask. But these are the margins, and Parsons, the project, going well.
Tempted by Neville, and Parsons was in the right spot again. O'Shea couldn't find him.
I'll tell you what's a big ask coming on for Joey Chambliss in the form that he's in. Alexander Parsons has been excellent. Margush keeps Western Sydney Wanderers in this game with a fantastic save.
Speaking to Graham Arnold a month or 2 ago, and he said this is what you get with the likes of Warren Moon taking over the head coaching roles. They know about the NPL level and all the talent. And that time, Parsons slipped at the key moment.
Didn't look nearly as likely on his right. Nevertheless, it was a bold effort. Had time to put it back onto his left foot, actually. Better moments for Brisbane these. They've just got the Wanderers pegged back, who were totally dominant for 15 minutes. Game's not secure for the Roar, of course. Nowhere close.
Wilmering out of the Wanderers Academy. What a ball! Labini! Oh, the block was sensational. Kai Truan, and now a deflected effort. Jamie Young held his ground and made it look easy.
Well, Kai Truan came on because of the injury after 20 minutes to Tommy Aldred. That's stunning. It's a great turn from Bernie Abdini. At that point, he's thinking, I can't do any more than this. I've controlled on the turn with a really nice cushion touch, and I've got the shot on goal. And if it beats Truan, I'd say it's going in. It's incredible work from the young Brisbane defender.
It's like he's been watching Ziggy Gordon videos to execute a block like that. Ziggy's done it about 20 times this season.
He's got to work on the chest-pumping celebrations afterwards, though, Speedy. It was very much a Gordon-type interception.
He's very understated, Kai Truan. Bacchus. Ziggy Gordon joins the attack. What about that ball that found a beanie before from Wilmering, though? Talk about putting it in a tight window.
He's a delight, Wilmering. He really is a delight. He's in the Kosuke Ota class of consistent delivery from the left-hand side.
Troisi, read by Daly, but anywhere will do. And he gets possession. 3 minutes plus stoppage time. Off the back heel of Corey Brown, sets it up for a quick counter potentially. Mabratu's ghosted into an offside position, so he leaves it to Parsons, who plays for a free kick that wasn't there. And that is a free kick. Neville went right through the back of Kamau. It's play on for Brisbane.
Yeah, well, I'm wanting more off my bench man than I got then from Golgol. As the excellent, really excellent Brisbane midfield looked to release O'Shea. Sensational again today.
He's going to give the booking here. Advantage was accruing for Western Sydney, but the referee decided that a yellow card against Brown was the advantage for Western Sydney. And that's because of the farcical IFAB adjustment that means the ref can't come back and book Brown later if he lets the play go and advantage accrue. Hello, IFAB. Change that one back to what it used to be, and the game will be better for it. O'Shea, the defensive work that time. Danzaki picks up the scraps. Plenty of space in behind here. Played it pretty cleverly, but so too did Wilmering, who could leave it for Margush. Not quite the angle that Danzaki needed.
No, he needed, and probably had a chance a little bit early, but it was under extreme heat from the very good Wanderers recovery. They're putting in a big effort here to drag this one in, Western Sydney. They've forced some quite incredible defending and goalkeeping so far.
Wanderers putting in a fantastic effort, no doubt about that. But I think Brisbane look comfortable. They'll be looking at that scoreboard now. No, it's only going to be a matter of added minutes.
Could be quite a chunk though. Andrejev has worked out the technology. He's ready to put that number up in 30 seconds time. Brisbane's winning goal as it stands came in first half stoppage time. Western Sydney have scored their fair share of late goals here, often with Mitchell Duke on the pitch though. It's up to Abini, or Yeboah, or Muller, or Troisi now. As we find out, it's 5. Parsons clipping it over the top a couple of times. Get out of my way, says Golgol Mabratu. Chance coming up. Danzaki, no. Desperation. And now O'Shea, can he bend it? Another block in the road. Daly back in. You're onside, Golgol Mabratu. And they have butchered the chance to secure all 3 points. The Raw. How many chances do you need? What about this guy? A lefty. Alex Parsons! That close to the top corner. Can we see more of this bloke, please?
Yeah, well, that's why he should have stuck that ball on his left foot instead of shooting from his right. Brilliant lead-up play. Exciting play, and they should have nailed it, Brisbane. They've had those key chances all game to skip clear. They haven't been able to. It's still in the trenches, this one.
Kai Truan across in time again. Space for Bacchus to launch. And now Nikolai Muller. Abini, another block. Kamau circling around. Troisi knows Wilmering's there if he wants him. Probably should have used him. Parsons doing his defensive work now. Only as far as Wilmering. Corley Gillespie stands tall for Brisbane. Look at all this desperation. Deflection. Bacchus. Aquilina to the byline. Great ball. Kamau! Jamie Young in the road again, and Yeboah says to Brucey, I'm here. He could have left it. Still 3 minutes of stoppage time to come. Jamie Young, again, one of the best players on the pitch. Key saves. Driven in by Troisi, no one there at the near post, but it's coming back. Wilmering bending one for Bernie. Beanie slices it. Jamie Young stretches, couldn't claim it, had to palm it.
Yeah, in the end, slightly misread that and was in a little bit of a panic as he had to reach and fist the ball clear. incredible pressure this Brisbane is seeing away.
Troisi gives it some elevation to McGowan, back post. Kept in by Muller. All the way through, Troisi! Can't keep his shot down, winds up in the RBB after he called Ziggy Gordon out of it.
Well, called him out, or did Ziggy just misread the cue? It looked to be his chance. And just the troops amassed on the back post. Muller with poise, and Ziggy's touch deserted him. Might have taken a bobble on the way through. Excellent from Muller. The deflection of the Brisbane goalkeeper put Ziggy Gordon off, and then Troisi hits the clouds.
Parsons able to turn and go. Wilmering with speed. Got that goal side. Great battle between the two young lefties. Robinson knows how important it is not to lose to teams in and around you on the ladder. So what an effort this is by Brisbane to come to Sydney on back-to-back Friday nights and silence the bullpen and now the RBB. Unless Kai Truan's header was indifferent. Kamau's was clever. Muller was trying to turn and Truan got there. Final 30 seconds. Parsons wins it again. He says the goal. Where do you want it? McGowan able to give Western Sydney one last crack at it. Abini flicking it on. Great spot for it, but Jamie Young able to claim, and that should be that.
They're too good in the centre of defence. When they needed to spread and be desperate, they were unbreakable. But in those moments, they dropped, covered each other, read the flick-ons if they couldn't head clear, and they've secured a mighty 3 points here, Brisbane.
Brisbane go back-to-back. Warren Moon is finally getting the results he felt like his team had in them. They're just 2 points out of the top 6. And the Wanderers are so vulnerable now in 6th spot. They look like sitting ducks for the Brisbane Roar, who are on a roll right now. All the goals came in the first half. At full time, it's Brisbane 2, Western Sydney 1.
Thank you, Andy Harper. Brenton Speed, that is a massive 3 points for Brisbane Roar and a massive nothing for Western Sydney Wanderers. So Wanderers stuck on 25. All of a sudden, Brisbane 23. Brisbane played 15. Wanderers played 18. A lot happening around them.